Hey everyone, Find Me Nola here, back at it again with yet another Halloween Horror Nights video. And today we're going to be discussing the very first speculation map for this year. For those of you that don't know, every year a brand new speculation map made by the lovely people at HNNightmares is released. The map consists of properties or IPs or original ideas that is heavily speculated or rumored to come at this year's Halloween Horror Nights event. Now this isn't exactly breaking news in the haunt community, since both maps for Hollywood and Orlando have been out for a couple days now, but I don't think it's really too late to discuss my personal thoughts on the maps. Now, for the most part in this video, I'm going to be predominantly talking about Hollywood's maps since I do live in the West Coast and Universal Studios Hollywood is the theme park that I attend, but I am going to be talking about Orlando's map a little bit here and there. So on February 18th, Horror Night Nightmares released their speculation map version 1 of Orlando, which consists of Chucky, which is already given since it's already been announced, monsters featuring the Phantom of the Opera and Dracula, The Last of Us, a Krampus original, another original that has something to do with anchors, the Horrors of Blumhouse chapter 4, 5 or whatever, featuring Megan and Insidious, an original titled Lair of the Banshees, another original titled Devil Dogs, another house which I'm assuming is an IP that has something to do with an electric guitar, and another original titled Japanese Creatures. And as of now, scare zones and shows are unknown. And on March 2nd, Horror Night Nightmares released version 1 of their Hollywood map. There's a whole lot of shared IPs, a whole lot of shared original ideas, and even some exclusive originals and IPs. We got Horrors of Blumhouse featuring Megan and Insidious. We have The Last of Us. We have Universal Monsters set in Paris. We have Japanese Creatures. We have Nightingale's Blood Prey. We also have The Exorcist, some kind of IP that has something to do with clowns, Chucky, which again is a given, that same electric guitar IP that was mentioned in Orlando, and the tram featuring celebrities. That's simply the subtitle, celebrities, with no further elaboration. This seems like a very interesting lineup, so let's discuss it. First, let's talk about Horrors of Blumhouse. Out of all the mazes here in this map, I feel like Horrors of Blumhouse has the highest chances of actually coming to the event. The latest Megan movie definitely did not go unnoticed. It made quite a big buzz when it first came out, especially with the younger TikTok generation. And a while back, the makers of Megan actually held a Q&A in Reddit, and they kind of just low-key accidentally confirmed that they were making an appearance at Horror Nights. For me personally, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not really sure if it's Horror Nights worthy or not, but even if it does come to fruition, I honestly wouldn't mind Megan being at Horror Nights. And then we have Insidious, which I'm assuming they picked for the second half of Blumhouse because they want to promote the new Insidious 5. That's coming out either later this year or early next year, I'm not sure. Either that or they can't think of any other good Blumhouse movies to make a maze out of, which is kind of sad. Next on the list is The Last of Us, which is the new big show that everyone will not shut up about. Now, I haven't seen this show, nor have I ever played the games, but I remember when the game first came out, a lot of people wanted it at Horror Nights. When people talked about video games appearing at Horror Nights, the first thing that always came to mind was The Last of Us, and it looks like that's finally coming to fruition this year, so hopefully that all goes well. And it's not hard to see why Universal would want to do The Last of Us this year, since it's basically this generation's The Walking Dead, which is, it's the headliner IP that's gonna sell a whole lot of tickets. Next up, we have Universal Monsters Paris, which I'm assuming takes place in Paris, obviously, but it doesn't really exactly say what monsters are going to be featured. Based on the Orlando map, I'm assuming it's going to feature Phantom and Dracula, which I honestly don't mind. And, it's the monsters. Of course I'm going to enjoy it no matter what. Like I said, I don't mind the Universal Monsters showing up to every single Horror Nights from now on, just as long as they're up to par with all the first couple mazes. Next up on the list is Japanese Creatures, which based on the rumors is going to be an original idea that's going to be featured in both Hollywood and Orlando in the same year. And honestly, I don't think that's ever been done before in the history of Horror Nights. But nonetheless, it sounds really cool, and I'm not really familiar with Japanese folklore, but I've been looking through some images and some stuff through Wikipedia, and from what I've seen, it sounds really cool, and I feel like a maze like that would have a lot of potential. It sounds really exciting. Next up is Nightingale's Blood Prey, which, if you guys don't know, is actually an original house that was made in Orlando back in 2011, I want to say. And basically, it's just about these blood-sucking creatures that feast on the blood of the dead soldiers from the World War I trenches. and that alone just sounds really cool. So this means that John Murdy is still trying to continue that trend that started with Scarecrow, meaning they're gonna take an original concept from Orlando and John Murdy is just gonna make his own like Hollywood version of that original idea, which is really cool. As long as this maze is up to par with Scarecrow, then it's gonna be really cool. The map also states that the Exorcist will return for a third time at Horror Nights. No comment. And then we have this mysterious clown IP. I'm assuming it's an IP because if it was an original, they would have said otherwise, but oh well. Now, this could be a whole lot of possibilities. One being that it's actually Hollywood Harry finally getting his own haunted house as opposed to just appearing in the Terror Tram again, which, in my honest opinion, sounds like a terrible idea. Like, if you're gonna do a haunted house based on Hollywood Harry finally, just at least wait a couple years. But that's just me. Another possibility is that it could be just a Hollywood exclusive IP. The only big clown movie that I can think of is It. But if it were to come to Halloween Horror Nights, there was no way it would be in just Hollywood. I would assume Orlando would want to do It as well. So if you rule out It and think of any other clown movie that isn't necessarily big enough to the point where Orlando can't live without having it at their event, the only thing that comes to mind is Terrifier. The movies are somewhat big in the horror community, but it's not big enough to the point where it could be a headliner IP like The Last of Us. So having Terrifier be a Hollywood exclusive isn't entirely impossible. And then we have this electric guitar logo, which I'm presuming is an IP because it states it's an IP in the Orlando map. So this is a shared IP. And honestly, the first thing that pops into my mind is Metallica. I can definitely see a whole new resurgence of music mazes coming in the next couple years in Horror Nights, especially after seeing the success of the Weekend House. But why is everyone saying Metallica instead of, say, Iron Maiden or Judas Priest or someone else in the heavy metal genre? Well, there is a lightning bolt next to the guitar, and it could be a reference to saying that like, oh, it's an electric guitar, or it could be a reference to the Ride the Lightning album. A lot of people are also saying that it could possibly be Stranger Things 4, you know, because it's in reference to Eddie Munson. But I highly doubt that's the case because Netflix is doing their own thing with their Stranger Things experience, so I highly doubt we'll see Stranger Things at least in the foreseeable future. Metallica probably saw the success of the Weekend House and thought, hey, why don't we take a crack at this Horror Nights thing? And then they just directly contacted Universal. And finally, we have the Terror Tram, which simply has the subtitle Celebrities. Now, this could mean anything. Now, from what we can gather from the speculation map is that there's at least one celebrity attached to the Terror Tram, but the question is, who are the celebrities? What kind of celebrities are they? And why are they attached to the Terror Tram? Is the actual theme of the Terror Tram celebrities? Are we talking about current celebrities? Are we talking about dead celebrities that are come back from the grave to haunt the backlot? And it's just so many endless possibilities that we can think of. Are the celebrities horror filmmakers? Are the celebrities musicians? Are the celebrities, you know, like Diego Luna? Again, just I don't know. I mentioned this on my previous video, but I'll say it again here for the sake of the rumors of Terror Tram. There's always that one HHN project that has a celebrity's name attached to it. The biggest example being the Monster Mazes. They always advertise it as, oh, it will feature maze music by Slash. Like, okay, Slash, whatever. And then like, oh, narrated by Danny Trejo. And like, oh, imagined by Eli Roth and yada yada yada. I'm just like, okay. So based on what's happened in Horror Nights history, I'm assuming it's just going to be an original concept with the celebrity's name attached to it. I don't know, be like, oh, Monsters and Aliens featuring music from Machine Gun Kelly. Like I don't know, man. But knowing John Murdy's track record of hanging out with celebrities, this isn't way too far off from the truth. And lastly, scare zones as of now are unknown, and also the show is unknown as well. For those of you that aren't up to date with all the theme park stuff, they just closed down the special effects stage, meaning no one can be allowed inside that building, meaning Jabberwocky's gone for this year? Now, this could actually mean a number of things. One of them being that Jabberwockies could just simply move elsewhere and just relocate and have another show somewhere else in the park, which I really hope isn't the case. The Jabberwockies need to go, man. I'm sorry, but they just do not fit the Horror Nights aesthetic. Like, they need to leave, like, ASAP. But it could also mean that the Jabberwockies really are gone for good and Universal has to make room for another type of entertainment for Horror Nights. But honestly, I can't think of a spot anywhere in the park where Universal can just put a live show in there. But if we take another look at the speculation map, it says that there are 9 houses this year as opposed to 8 like last year. So is that 9th house a replacement for a live show? And is that what's going to eat up the crowds? Because I remember they did the exact same thing in 2014 when they removed the Bill and Ted show. But yeah, in regards to live entertainment this year, the possibilities are endless, just like Terror Tram. So there could be no show at all, there could be a Jabberwocky show somewhere else, there could be a brand new show, we don't know yet. It's still too early in the year for us to know for sure. In fact, I should have prefaced this at the start of my video, not everything you see here is 100% legit. Both speculation maps have been made by HNNightmares, and HNNightmares make their maps based purely off of rumors and speculation, hence why they're called speculation maps. They get little pieces of information from forums, they get sent DMs from quote-unquote inside sources, but for all we know, all this information that they're gathering might not be true, or they could be true, and for all we know, they could be half-truths. So naturally, both speculation maps are subject to change, hence why the folks at HNNightmares make different versions over the year. With that being said, I am looking forward to these next couple months of speculation season and seeing how drastically the rumors change, if they change at all. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of the rumored lineups. Are you guys fans of some of the rumored houses and want the lineup to remain the same mostly? Or do none of these rumored houses appeal to you at all and want the lineup to change drastically? If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you want more content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, see you all in the fog.